Hello.
Hi.
This question is about spiritual discernment, in case I don't get to the point.
I'll stop you.
I think that's what it's supposed to be. In the form of signs. So when life presents situations, motifs, just the recurring patterns, is it possible to look too deeply into these recurring situations, topics?
Do you mean when you say look too deeply, do you mean think about it?
No, not think about it, but is that the universe's way of presenting that answer?
Can you give an example?
Certainly. So the past year-ish, I'm a teacher and I love teaching, but education is very difficult right now. And I think my personal circumstances as well are affecting my ability to be and do. And it's creating internal conflict. And I don't know if this is the path that I'm best suited for to be serving the world in the way that I can. And I don't know if I should switch my paths. So in my personal life, multiple people at various times throughout, like I said, the past year, have mentioned in passing and unrelatedly potential careers or things that I could be good at, that I think I have a skill set for that's not cultivated yet because I've focused my attention on education. So I think that that's the best illustrative example of me seeing things come up in my life and me asking, is this a sign that I need to actually switch directions?
So are you saying the signs are coming from other people's opinions? Or are there other signs?
Perhaps opinions, but they're never related to, I've been thinking about a career change and we have a conversation about that. It's unrelated topic of conversation. And then also just my personal yearnings and where my attention is drawn. Okay.
So what particularly is the conflict within you? You say you love teaching. And are you, what do you teach?
I teach high school.
High school. Very challenging.
Yes.
Very, very challenging. And boy, they need present teachers.
Yes.
So you love teaching. Okay, I can see that. What's over here that's causing, because there's something within you that's causing conflict. So what are these, what's over here?
The institution itself, like the actual institution, the school, the system, and all of the other stuff that isn't teaching but is involved in the job. So the ministry is complicated. It becomes a job and it takes up a lot of my time. And so I have immense difficulty being while I do.
Right. So it is a good practice for you.
Absolutely. It's exhausting.
If you are unsure, keep on practicing being present. Be present now in this moment. And there will be a clarity that will come. You will know whether you are supposed to leave there. It will just somehow happen. But right now, you have the thought, so put the thought, it's out there. Leave it alone now and see what happens. I remember This is before Eckhart and I got into a relationship, and I was in a different relationship. And I didn't know whether I wanted to leave it. I did, and I wasn't sure. So he always pointed me back to this moment. This moment. Are you ready to leave today? And in fact, there were times, I have to admit, because every relationship has its challenges, there were times that even in my relationship with Eckhart, I had to say to myself, am I ready to leave in this moment? Because, whatever, the ego wasn't getting its way, or, whatever thoughts that come up because you want out of a relationship, right? So I'll say to myself, are you ready to leave in this moment? No. Okay, then I'm in it. That's this moment. And it would be it was really interesting to see when I surrendered to this moment, and the answer was that, no, I'm not ready to leave in this moment. So I'm here. It was like something just shifts inside. So keep practicing that. Ask yourself, am I ready to leave my teaching job in this moment? If the answer is no, then you keep teaching, but you teach with presence. You meet those challenges, and there are a lot of challenges for a school teacher. A good time to practice awakening, to be present. And every job has its ups and downs. Every job has its challenges, and every job has things that, I don't really want to do this part, but I love this part. So I don't know, and you don't know yet until it becomes really clear, and it'll be so clear that you just do it. It's just like when I left that relationship, it was almost like in one moment I suddenly knew, and I ended it, and that was it. No looking back. I just knew. But for several months, I was going back and forth in my head. I was stuck in the head. I was stuck with the head, with the logical reasoning mind, and then with my heart and what my heart really wanted. Even though I cared about this person and there was a love there was still this head. So right now, you're in your head about this. So just come to this present moment. It doesn't negate your thoughts. It just means, okay, that's my thought. Let it go. Be here now. Am I ready to go? Am I ready to end this? And then perhaps there's fear. If I end this, what do I do next? And you don't want to move to do something next because you don't have anything next. So that means there might be a gap. And what will you do? And there's all this worry stuff that goes on. So if you are really ready to move on, you have to be willing to let go, because sometimes life doesn't bring us the next thing until we let go. Sometimes it does bring us something else before we let go. And we just observe, we just discern. We can't spiritually discern unless we are still. Only through stillness can you spiritually discern. So, before I started working and traveling with Eckhart, I was in India meditating in the cave where Ramana Maharshi would meditate. And I was in the cave by myself, and I was meditating, and then I heard this voice, and I opened my eyes, and even though the cave is dark, you can kind of see, but nobody was there. And this voice said, when you go back home, you have to leave your job and leave the place where I had been living for like over 13 years, raised my daughter there, and I thought, what in the hell was that? So I continued meditating. I was in India for like 2 or 3 more months, so I actually forgot about that experience until I was back home, and the work that I was doing was always under contract. So my employer who I had worked for called me up and wanting to know if I'd come back and do another contract with them. And it was like suddenly I heard this voice, and it was my voice, but it felt like it wasn't my voice. And it said, "No, thank you." And I went, holy cow, because I was actually broke. I had no money. I used the last bit of my savings just to take off to go to India. My daughter was old enough. She took off to go live and work in Australia for a year. And I went, wow, this is my time. I'm gone. So I came back and it was just like, no, thank you. And I thought, oh my God. And then suddenly that memory came back of being in the cave. And then that whole month I watched myself pack. I had no idea where I was going. Once in a while, the fear would come up of, oh no, what am I going to do? I have no money. Where am I going to go? I had no idea where I was going to go. Friends, luckily I had some friends, and they let me stay with them, so I stayed at different places. And it was probably about maybe 3 weeks of being homeless, have my things in storage, having, no home. And I was with Eckhart, and he asked me if I would work and travel with him. And suddenly I realized, oh my God, that's why I had to leave my old life behind. I had to leave my old life, but I didn't know where I was going next. I had no idea that he was going to ask me this. I had to completely surrender and let go of my old life for this new spiritual life to unfold. So it is really trusting that life will present and will move you when it's needed. Do you have a family? Do you have children or anything? No. So you are virtually almost free to be able to move and do whatever, and possibly you don't have to support anybody. So it's possible it could happen. But if your fear is stopping you, then that fear is blocking your neural pathways to receive the right action.